Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll be previewing the T20 World Cup, which starts this weekend. Let us know your tournament predictions in the comments below, and subscribe if you're new. So, Kat, thanks for joining, mate. Yeah, looking forward to this tournament. But it's not without its controversy, is it?
Oh no.
So obviously, well, Bangladesh have withdrawn. Have been replaced by Scotland. By the look of it, Pakistan are not going to play their game against India. But yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg, isn't it? It's another tournament, sadly, where politics has played its part in sport, and not only sport but cricket as well. It won't be. It's not the first time, and unlikely will be the last time either. So that's put a slight stain on this tournament, I would say.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not. People like to say that politics and sport don't mix, but these days, and probably for the last 50 years or so or more, uh, politics and sport are kind of almost inextricably kind of intertwined these days. This sport is used as a tool of soft power. It's like sports washing. I think they call it, they class it as the term use of sport as a political tool. So, unfortunately, the T20 World Cup appears to be quite a mod, quite the latest instance of that happening, and especially in regards to political tensions in Asia at the moment. So yeah, it's a shame that the two that he's has been affected in this way, but it's the way of the modern world these days, I suppose.
Yeah, no, exactly, and yeah, it is a real shame, and I think the likes of Mike Affett and Nasser saying Mark Butcher have spoke really well about this. So it's hard to sort of disagree with anything that they've said over in their previews on Sky and Wisden, etc. So let's talk about the cricket. England, we're beating Sri Lanka, whitewashed Sri Lanka in the T20s, and then won the one day national series preceding that 2-1. But yeah, in the T20s, yeah, we're looking. I think we've got a really good chance. Whether we're going to win it, it's doubtful with India being one of the host nations, and India's obviously amazing team. But yeah, what would you make of obviously England's recent series against Sri Lanka, and what do you make of our chances overall?
The recent series against Sri Lanka is quite promising in many respects. Playing against one of the host nations in their backyard, kind of acclimatizing conditions, a 3-0 win. Um, it looked like we had something of a game plan going in there, and Harry Brook, for all the flack he's taken recently, kind of seemed to have skippered the team quite well on the pitch there. He was quite intelligent with how he managed his bowlers and the fields he set and so forth. So that looks promising. And the likes of Liam Dawson, Adil Rashid were economical and dangerous. So that looks they're going to be key going into the tournament. Jacob Bethel as well is with the ball, probably slightly more than the bat. He's going to be an important part as well. And so I think there's real promise there. I think we could that we look like we could hit the ground running in the tournament. It's like the only slight concern is like the batting side of it. It's like the looking across the series is quite a weird one. It's that there was no individual batter across the series made more than 95 runs in so it kind of tells you a little bit how the quality of the pitches and also to an extent the quality of their bowling as well. So it's one of them that is it's kind of T20 T20 cricket. It's one of them games. If someone gets in and gets going on any pitch, it's like one person has a day out. You can beat anyone, and so there it just needs that one or two players to kind of have a tournament with the bat. Um, Josh Butler, there were signs he was starting to come back to form. Um, Tom Banton, he looked that one game towards the end. He got the 50, and I think it was the second game. So he looked like he was hitting a little bit of form. Harry Brook, he was a little hit and miss in the series. He's so, but you never know what you're going to get with him sometimes. Phil Salt slightly disappointing. Um, so yeah, but there's the quality and the firepower there for them to for them to do some real damage in the tournament coming up. So I think there's reason to be hopeful following the Sri Lanka series for sure.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I think there's no doubt that England's preparation for this tournament is a lot better than the preparation for the Ashes. That's an understatement. There's basically no preparation. At least we've gone into games with obviously only a few days away now. And yeah, with a bit of form and playing in proper conditions. Obviously, Sri Lanka being one of the hosts, and I think if we get through the first stage, which we should, judging by our group into the
Yeah,
Super 8, I think all our games will be in Sri Lanka. I think so.
okay.
Having played, obviously, well, 6 games in total, 3 of them T20 eyes. Yeah, that's only a good sign, especially as we absolutely whitewashed Sri Lanka as well. Which, while they're not the Sri Lanka of old, at home they're reasonably formidable, aren't they? So with great effort to win both those white ball series. So let's just talk about the batting. I think you might not think so, which is fair enough, but I think this is probably England's strength in this tournament, particularly on the Indian pitches, which would probably be a little bit flatter than the Sri Lankan ones.
Yeah.
I think Salt and Butlers, when they're on form, only one of them on form, but they're formidable opening partnership. Bethel's getting better and better in all formats. So he should be a shoe in. What do you make of the number 4 spot? Because that seems to be one before the tournament where, well, Duckett's going to be the shoe in at number 4. He's obviously left-handed, plays sweeps well, but he's unfortunately it's probably a sign of the all-format cricketers, which he is. And when you get into bad form and you've been on the road for a while, it's hard to get back in form. So, and fair play to Tom Banton, you mentioned him. He got a 50 in the second game. Yeah, for me, I think he's earned the shirt at number 4. What do you think?
Yeah, he's the man in possession going into the tournament. So I think that number 4 spot. So I think he's earned the right to start the tournament there. Ben Duckett, I think it's been a long winter for him, but T20 is one of those kind of games where I don't know, it might actually free him up and just got say go, just let him play. It's like so it's yeah, all he needs is kind of get 1 or 2 shots away and then start, and he'll get going again. And so, especially playing some games in India as well, where the pitches are probably going to be flat they tend to be quite flat for white ball games in India. So, if he gets away to a start, and then as you say, Phil Salt to kind of come into the mix as well. He's as explosive as they come at the top of the order.
Yeah,
So
he makes it. You're a serious player when you make Joss Buttler look quite slow with your strike rate.
exactly, yeah, yeah. So Phil Salt, yeah, I mean he plays some incredible innings sometimes, and he's probably not been quite as consistent as you'd like him to be. But when he does come off, it's like it's good to watch. Um, but it will be interesting to see how they fit those 3 into the order, and whether and so you'd imagine they'd probably look for a left and right opening combination. I think Butler is probably the more versatile one that can move around the order a little bit more. He kind of do that kind of middle order role as well as the opener role. He's probably most dangerous as an opener, but also know he can finish innings as well. Um, so ironically, although Banton's had a pretty good series in Sri Lanka, he could be one of the more vulnerable people in that lineup as well. So in terms of how they fit those 3, because I don't think they're going to move Bethel. So he's kind of locked into that side. I think he's probably their number 3 in all formats at the moment. That's going to be an interesting one how they organise that. So, but there's whichever way you go about it, there's still loads of firepower in that top five. Um, I mean, to get down to six, yeah. I mean, you have a look; they bat all the way down. It's
Well,
like
that's it. That's why I think it's England's strength. It's very reminiscent of when Owen Morgan's team, 2019 World Cup winning team, and obviously when we last won the T20 World Cup in 2022, how deep we batted when we won in Australia.
exactly, exactly. I mean, you've got the likes of Adil Rashid coming in at 10, and so he's like, and he's, um, but forget he's probably got, I think he's got like 10 or 12 first class
Well,
hundreds.
that's
So
that's the meme, innit? That's the meme, innit?
exactly.
Like even
What's number 11
Rashid
ever?
at 11, he's got 10 first class hundreds. He's got more than Zach Crawley probably. I don't know, but like,
Had to get that in there. Had
yeah,
to get
that's
that in.
it. Yeah. Well, that's just it just goes to show, doesn't it, mate? And the fact that Will Jacks, who is an explosive top order player, he's in at number 7 or whatever, and I think he only batted once in the T20 eyes. That's how that's how strongly England
Yeah,
bat as how strong the England batting has been. And what I liked, what was encouraging from an England point of view, was the fact that there were two low scoring games that we won in that series against Sri Lanka. I think even in Test cricket, England prefer flat pitches. Our bats can hit through the line, nice easy bounce, nice true bounce, all that kind of stuff. But when it's slow and low and tricky pitches, we have come a bit unstuck over the years. But that was encouraging in that recent
yeah,
series. We had a couple of the DLS played its part a couple of times, so that only bodes well. I would say, especially when we assuming we get to the Super Eights, that only bodes well.
yeah. I mean, you'd like to think it's pretty much shooing that we get through to the Super Eights. You look at the
Yeah,
group, it's like Italy, Nepal, Scotland, West Indies. You'd expect England and the West Indies to kind of get out of that group. I think
yeah,
Italy might probably be the dark horse of that group. Italy or Scotland will be the dark horse of that group, really, because they're both sides full of first class with guys who have played a fair amount of first class cricket in there, so that they won't necessarily be walkovers, but you'd expect England to win those games relatively comfortably and to get out of that group. And if they don't, then Brendan McCullum definitely will be gone. So
yeah. Well, I think arguably even in the Super Eights, if we get knocked out of that, I think he'd be gone as
yeah,
well. Well, and let's finish with the England chat about the bowling. And you mentioned a little bit earlier. I think the spin, our spin attack is. I think I wouldn't say the best in the tournament. It's got to be in the contention. Like you've got Adil Rashid, Liam Dawson as the two main spinners who are both excellent, and then obviously you've got the part timers. But in white ball cricket, it doesn't really matter if as long as you don't bowl full tosses, or even then you might get wickets. Is Will Jacks and even Bethel got 4 wickets in the last T20I.
yeah.
So
Don't forget Ray and Ahmed as well.
Ryan Ahmed,
He's in that.
yeah, exactly, yeah. So yeah, I think on the spin department, I think we're all bases are covered. I think for me, it's more the seam bowling is probably England's biggest issue.
Yeah, this it's yeah, the seam bowling is probably the kind of the area where mm, outside of Jofra, there's probably not much in kind of like tried and tested at that level. When you look at the bowling, the seam bowling attack, Jamie Overton, um, he's not convinced yet at international level.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
think
good.
I think for me, I think Jamie Overton's the one who's the most vulnerable of the seamers because
Yeah,
Curran's going to play, rightly so. I think you would think Archer will play, fitness permitting, and I think who else at it? I'd consider Luke Wood actually. I think Wood is a seriously underrated player in T20 cricket, so I'd consider him to certainly open the bowling anyway.
yeah, and I think he's got another left arm with that left arm angle
Well,
is
that's
quite
it. Yeah,
useful in T20 because that seems to be harder to hit, especially for the right hander with the ball going across. It seems to be that slightly harder to hit. So um, I think he's going to be in there, and he's not short of pace
well,
either.
exactly. Yeah, he's no
So,
slouch, is he? Yeah. So
yeah, so yeah, so I wouldn't. It's probably the weaker link out of the two in terms of in comparing seam bowling to the spin attack.
yeah.
But there's it's yeah it's not. I think there's enough there to allow us to have a little bit of hope that we can compete. He's like, especially Adil Rashid, if he has on these pitches, you see how far his googlies were turning. In Sri Lanka, so they're going square half the time. He can,
Yeah, exactly.
his
Yeah,
quality as a white ball bowler. It's like if he gets on a roll and in a rhythm, then he could be unplayable. Liam Dawson was very economical. And Bethel took, was it fourfer in the last
yeah,
ODI, last T20 game against
yeah. And
Sri
Jack,
Lanka at
and
the death?
yeah, and that was he didn't even well. He bowled four. He got the last. I assume he got the last wicket. He bowled 3.3. Yeah, he got the last wicket. Yeah, four
Yeah.
wickets. He got in there. Jack's got three from his 4 overs.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
yeah, exactly. So I think there's reasons to be optimistic there. Are there better bowling attacks in the tournament? Probably, yeah. Yeah, it's like India, Australia, probably better attacks on paper, but games aren't played on paper, are they? So
Well, that's it, mate. Yeah, no, absolutely.
yeah,
So yeah, I think we've got a great chance. And you look at assuming we do get past a group stage, which we should. This weird seeding for the Super Eights, I don't quite understand it. Why that's been the case, but anyway. So assuming we qualify, we're seeded to be in the Y group. Along with New Zealand, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. So, it'd be tough, but I would back England to get out the Super Eights out of that group, especially as we avoid India.
yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. I think India's always going to be the one. I think the one that everyone wants to avoid until you get to the knockout stage. Yeah. In a knockout game, anything can happen. Anyone has a day out. They can beat anyone in a knockout game, especially in like T20 cricket. But yeah, in a group stage, yeah, you'd want to avoid them. So yeah, obviously, I think yeah, to an extent, it's going to depend on where we finish first or second in the group as well. To an extent, you'd expect us to finish top. But yeah, I think we would be one of the teams that would be fancied to get to the last spot, to the semis.
Yeah,
Um, especially with the talent in the side and looking around the other sides below that, India, Australia, ourselves, um, probably South Africa are looking around the rest of the sides. They're some of those squads and some of those teams are not you're not necessarily fearful of. West Indies are not the team in T20 cricket they once were. Um, New Zealand never traditionally been the best T20 side. Um, Pakistan, I mean, because of their boycotting of the India game in the group stage, you'd fancy they might struggle to get out of the group because that's it's already handed India 2 points, and so that might make it harder for them to get out of the group. So yeah. So you'd expect us to kind of get into that last four, and then just say once you get to that knockout stage, anything can happen on any given day.
no, that's it. No, totally. So we mentioned a couple of teams there, but who do we think are the final four are going to be? I mean, India are clearly the standout favourites. Not only are they the co-hosts, they're the holders of the T20 World Cup, obviously from the Caribbean a couple of years ago, and yeah, they're the number one T20 team. They've got the number one batter in Abhishek Sharma, who's on fire at the moment. They've got the number one bowler in Varun Chakravarti. They're just an incredible team. As I say, they're playing. They're the co-hosts, so I mean, talk about great punditry, but they've got to be one of the favourite. Got to be the favourite. They are overwhelming favourite for the tournament, eh?
So sometimes it's just obvious, isn't it?
Yeah,
So yeah, I think yeah, India are probably the favourites, definitely. And then you're looking around, probably Australia. You'd fancy to go quite deep in the tournament. Ourselves, England, and I think the last spot is probably between South Africa and maybe Sri Lanka because of home conditions, because of home advantage. maybe Sri Lanka might do quite well. Um, so India, Australia, England, and I'll go South Africa.
Yeah, but I think it's doing the groups though. So like the Super
Yeah,
Eight. So from say from the Super Eight, our group, we play New Zealand, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. I would say England and probably New Zealand is my guess. Will come out of that particular group to go to the semis, and then in that X group, I mean, India will go through, and then yeah, Australia, West Indies, South Africa. I mean. That's tough. I mean, I think the
yeah,
four, I think the four I had were India, South Africa, and then England, New Zealand were the four I had. But you know, Australia haven't had the greatest preparation, but in ICC tournaments they're fantastic, aren't they? So they can't be ruled out. But yeah, look, yeah, South Africa in all formats are excellent, and New Zealand they always seem to. I mean, yeah, it's more probably the 50 over World Cups. They probably shine more, but you know they've still got some fantastic players, and they're the underdogs and can't be ruled out. So but it is a bit apart from India. I think it's a bit of a lottery for the other teams. I would say.
yeah. No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's yeah. I think New Zealand, they're always kind of like the plucky kind of underdog kind of side, or always kind of difficult to beat and stuff. Um, so they we could have a chance, but yeah, I think it's difficult to look outside the obvious,
Yeah,
isn't it? Really, as you
yeah.
say, it's a real in-depth kind of insights and punditry. It's a kind of Alan Shearer level on the
Yeah.
match of the day,
Well, I
isn't
mean,
it?
to be honest, everyone's said India,
Yeah,
so like it'd be a bit
yeah,
weird if we said something different. So,
yeah,
okay, well, I think from an England point of view, you know, it is a bit last chance for for Brendan McCullum as England coach. If we get knocked out in the first stage or even the Super Eights, I think that's his time done as England coach. If we say we get to the semis and look convincing. Whereas in the last T20 World Cup we were pretty poor. I don't was he in charge then, or was it Matthew Mott? But anyway,
yeah,
but England's but obviously the Champions Trophy last year where he was in charge, we were terrible, lost all three games. So we're due we need to have a good white ball tournament. It's been a while since we won the T20 World Cup in 2022. So. But yeah, we need to. I back us to, especially after Sri Lanka. I think we need to have a good tournament. I'll back us to have a good one. But yeah, so I think
yeah,
I think England will get to at least the semis. So my prediction, I'm sure it'll be the same. India to win it, but I think we'll get to the final. I think it'll be an India England final, and I think will beat us. I would say. What are your thoughts? Where do you think England will finish?
yeah. I think definitely get to the semis. Um, so I think yeah. So I think we would definitely kind of make it through kind of those two group stages and get to the semis, and then you say like as I said before, like T20 is one of them games. Anyone has a day out. Um, any one player has a day out. Any team can beat anyone. It's such a kind of game of chance sometimes. Um, so yeah, so definitely semis, and then yeah, I think we've got as good a chance as almost anyone. I think it's obviously India are the favourites. You know, the squad, the strength in the squad they have. You know, it's like the players coming through the IPL and have that grounding. Um, playing. I imagine the final is probably in India as well. So it's like a bit of home
I would assume
advantage
so.
as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. So yeah, I think everything's set up for them to do well. And then yeah, I would expect us to get. Yeah, I think we're pretty solid shout to get to the last four.
All right, nice one. We'll see. So we get on. It begins this weekend. So yeah, good luck to the England team. Hopefully, it's a good one for us. Well, thanks, Kat, for your thoughts. Appreciate your time, mate. Thanks everyone for
Pleasure.
watching. Subscribe if you're new. Let us know your tournament predictions in the comments below, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.